welcome to my channel. My name is Alicia. Today I want you to give you a month update on Tirzepatide, and I somehow feel like I'm saying that wrong currently. Technically it was 5 weeks. I was on the 2.5 milligrams. 1 week I did not do the shot properly, so I didn't have any medicine. So I wanted to kind of do a recap of my experience on my first month. I am on the compound version of Tirzepatide. There's also Mounjaro and Zepbound, I believe, are all in the same category. I'm trying better for my first month of 5 milligrams to have better kind of weight data, like by week, etc. So I have, if we're talking about the end of my month, I have lost a total of 24 pounds. But that includes more than just that month. So 13 pounds for my first month. Now, 10 of that came in the first week, and 3 of that came on the week I didn't take medicine. And then 2 weeks, I basically just maintained. I didn't lose anything. And I will say I was kind of getting disheartened at the last 2 weeks. And so it kind of helped to do this reflection, because 13 pounds is not a bad number. But when I basically wasn't losing anything those last 2 weeks, I was kind of getting down on myself. Is this medicine worth it, etc. And so I just kind of want to go over some of my thoughts for my first month. Just a reminder, I am not a doctor. Don't take any medical advice from me. I'm not giving medical advice. If you're curious about the medicine, want to know if it will work for you, you definitely need to go talk to a doctor. Also, these are just my opinions. I'm just a normal, everyday person. Please be positive or kind in the comments. So, anywho, let's get started. I'm kind of going to be glancing down at my notes just to kind of look at some different topics. One thing I've learned this month from my own experience, from watching YouTube videos, I'm in a Mounjaro, sort of Zepbound, all the things, like a Facebook group. Just from reading all the different things, every single person reacts differently. And so you might see 100 people say they're puking their guts out, and then you're not. And so everybody reacts differently. Some people lose super fast. Some people lose super slow. So I feel like you have to moderate your expectation. And so that's another point I have, is have realistic expectations. 6 months ago, I didn't even know medicine like this existed. But then when you're watching videos, you're reading about it, I really had this medicine on a high pedestal. And that was a mistake I had. I mean, I was just like, this is the hottest thing. It's expensive for some people. And I just was like, this must just melt the weight off like butter. I guess I kind of expected it to just come off so easy. It didn't even involve work. So I do feel like you have to manage your expectations. This is not necessarily a super drug. It kind of is for some people, and it's kind of not. I sort of expected zero hunger, zero food thoughts, 24/7, every single day. And at least in my experience, that is not what I got. Also, some people have zero symptoms. Some people have a lot of symptoms. So again, I think you have to moderate your expectation and do your research, but also take everything you see or hear with a grain of salt. That's their experience. That doesn't mean it will be your experience. That was some of the mistakes I made in the beginning. I also didn't realize that, I think at least for myself, and it seems like other people, day 6 and 7 of your first, every shot, you're more hungry. And so I didn't expect that. Like I said, I really just expected it to work all the time. I also didn't realize some weeks would be better than others. And my only experience is with the beginning dose, 2.5. And for some people, 2.5 is awesome and it works like maybe the higher doses. And for some people, it's just the beginning, get your body used to it dose. So that's probably where I lie. My first week was beyond awesome. Zero hunger, no food thoughts, almost too much. Like I felt almost to the brink of ill if I even came close to eating too much. I could only take a few bites. And then it kind of went kind of downhill from there. The experience was very subtle. I will say most of the time I've had no food noise, but it varies. So in like a 7-day period, so far, mostly day 1 and day 2 are the most like no hunger, no food noise. Day 3 and 4, you're a little more hungry. Day 5, you're a little more hungry. And then day 6 and 7, they can sort of come back. But honestly, it was almost like every week was different on the 2.5. First week being the best. Again, most days I didn't have food noise, but I would say there was a good chunk besides the first week. I felt hungry. Could I control myself most of the time? Yes, but I felt hunger quite a bit on 2.5. And again, I know everybody is 100% different. So I kind of already talked about that. Like the first week was crazy strong. Second to fourth week, you know, like I said, I felt hunger. But most days, what was very nice is that I could stop eating when I'm satisfied. I do not most days feel the need to finish a plate. I don't necessarily need to finish a bowl of ice cream. I am perfectly happy stopping when I'm satisfied. There was one day where I was super hungry. My serving of the pizza was going to be 2 pieces. I was just thinking there's no way that's going to fill me up. I'm so hungry. I was perfectly satisfied with my 2 pieces of pizza. I will say quite a bit of the days I didn't have cravings. Like I have a big sweet tooth and I really don't desire the sweets at all. I do make sure to sort of like have a bowl of ice cream here or there. We did buy a bag of Oreos. I ate like 6 and I was perfectly satisfied. In the past, I would have probably ate half the bag. So it is super, super nice to not have the food noise most of the time. So again, 2.5 was kind of a roller coaster. Overall, I'm very happy with it, but I'm also paying, I feel like a cheaperish price. It all depends. Like I think full price is like $1,300. I'm not quite sure if there's actually anybody out there paying that. And that's for name brand like Monjero or Zepbound. I think there's lots of coupons. Various insurances pay various amounts. My 2.5 was $180. And then right now I'm on the 5 milligram and that was $200 for the month. And so I feel like that's at the low end of compounds. But again, prices range greatly. So if you have good insurance, it could be like $20 a month. My insurance does not cover it, won't even consider putting you on it until you do other medications. So some of my weight loss comes from phentermine, which I just couldn't handle the side effects. Anyway, so I think I've already mentioned some people lose super easy. Some people can stay on longer. So one of the things I've heard recommended a lot is if one dose is working for you, stay on it until it doesn't. I would say 2.5 isn't really effective for me. I just, in my mind, had too much hunger. And towards the end, it was getting almost like I was doing nothing. That last week, I had lots more food noise. So, again, a lot of people, if you post on something basically saying 2.5 doesn't work for you, a lot of people jump on, well, that's because it's like just the dosing your body, getting your body used to it. All right, let's talk about symptoms. I feel like I'm very lucky in the symptom category. Pretty much, I would say almost no symptoms. I have absolutely no nausea, not even a hint of it, no hint of throwing up. For 2.5, I had burping. And that was only mainly like the first couple weeks, and I would say very slight heartburn. But taking a couple Tums did the trick. So burping and a little bit of heartburn, but very minor. And I will say constipation is kind of high up there on the common symptoms. And I've had to make sure I'm getting fiber, water. I take a daily probiotic, but that really hasn't been something where it's been a super problem, but it is something where I've had to be aware of it and just change my habits a little bit to make sure that's not a problem. Let's talk about the shot site. So theoretically, scientifically, from a medical standpoint, it shouldn't matter where you inject it if you're doing it into 3 places: the back of the arms, the thigh, and the stomach. Subcutaneous shot should be the same everywhere, theoretically. Now, there's a lot of opinions on the best place for it. And I don't know whether it's sort of the placebo effect in your mind, it works better. I did all of mine in my thigh except for one in my stomach. And I'm a science teacher, so I feel like it's hard for me to have like any sort of concrete evidence. Did the stomach work better? Did the thighs work better? I'm kind of thinking I'm sticking with thighs, so I really don't have an opinion at the moment. I don't really think stomach or thigh was any better for me, but I did the 3rd week in my stomach. And so it's hard to say because each week was so wildly different anyway that I can't tell you whether the stomach made a difference, or if it made it worse. I don't really know. And then there's a lot of questions when you look online or watch videos. How soon do you feel the effect of the medicine? So I chose to take my shot at night, like about 8 o'clock before I was going to bed, because some people say that helps minimize the feeling of the symptoms. I probably wouldn't matter when I took it, but it's just kind of nice. I take it, I sleep all the way through the night, and I would say on most of the shots, I feel it the very next day. I think it was my 2nd shot. I didn't really fully feel it for about 48 hours, but for the most time, I feel it the very next day. There's also a lot of like talk about it, what's the best day, what's the best time. I don't have a specific, like, I'm always taking my shot on Thursday or I'm always taking my shot on Monday. I've kind of changed it. I took my first shot on Wednesday. Like I said, I realized that my second shot was like nothing. I didn't actually give myself any medicine. So I've kind of changed the date. As long as you wait 72 hours between shots, you can change the day of your shot. So some people like to take it before the weekend. Some people like to take it after the weekends. I'm going to be a tried and true nighttime, take it before bed shot. But I don't, for me, necessarily think it matters what day you take it, kind of just preference. And then when you're looking online, there's a lot of like, what should you eat while you're on this medicine? And there's kind of 2 main camps. One is you should be like super healthy, super regimented, eat as few calories as possible. And then the other camp seems to want to encourage you to eat kind of a normal diet, what you would normally eat in a normal day. That way, when you're done with the medicine, you have like good eating habits. And I kind of fall in the second category. Like, I want this to be a lifestyle I can maintain forever. I did Weight Watchers for a long time, and to me, it was just too strict. There were too many things that were super high points. You could never eat and stay in your points. So I'm kind of done with like pizza being off the table or ice cream being off the table. So I would recommend, number 1, do what's best for you. If you want to treat this as a quick diet and like be super harsh, do you. For me personally, I'm kind of doing the eat normal in moderation. I do, because of Weight Watchers, I feel like I have a background in what's kind of a healthier choice, portion size. I started out, when I started on the medicine, sort of counting calories just to make sure I was either getting enough or I wasn't doing too much. At this point, I really have more just been doing intuitive eating. I stop when I'm full. I'm not eating if I'm not hungry. And so I'm kind of trying to just eat healthy with some treats. Like, it's not realistic. I have a 9-year-old. We're never going to not have dessert or ice cream. Like, that's just not realistic. And so I want to eat in a manner that I can sustain for 20 years. And again, like, I'm kind of cognizant of calories. I have a similar breakfast every day, so I kind of know portions and calories. On the weekend, occasionally I'll get out the calorie counter just to make sure that I'm not super overdoing it. So that's kind of my philosophy on that. But overall, again, for me, this has been a positive experience. So far, I feel like 5 milligrams is a better dose for me. So I feel like everybody's different and you kind of just have to take it day by day. They always suggest pictures or measurements. I wish I had them because I really feel like the 2 weeks I didn't lose anything. I have a feeling my measurements changed for the better, but I don't have any proof of that. And I feel like we do need some non-scale victories because you get in your head of like, I'm paying for this medicine. Why am I not losing? My one non-scale victory is when I gained the weight, I couldn't wear any of my rings. And I wasn't going to get them resized because that's like $30 per ring. And so I can wear my rings now. So that's one of my non-scale victories. And I feel like we need those to look forward to. Otherwise, you can get discouraged. Because even though I've lost 24 pounds at this point, slightly more, but if we're talking about the first month, I'm a person that doesn't drop sizes of clothes very much. So I've only kind of dropped one size in each category. I do think I'm on the verge of the next category. So I feel like if that happens to be you, then we really need somehow like incentives, like, yes, you're doing a good job, to keep going. So that was kind of the recap of my first month. Overall, I feel like it's good. It's a game changer not to have food driving your brain all the time. So overall, it was a positive experience for me, even though there were some bumps in the road. Anyway, thank you for watching. I hope you have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.